part 2 of this episode, entitled Church Trips and a Church with No Windows. So, part 2, let's get into it. So, we leaving the church down in Wheeling, West Virginia. Me and my boy, KP, are laughing, joking, having a good time. We get on the van, we're sitting in the last row, headed back home. And he's giving me the rundown of how everything popped off the night before. So I'm like, nigga, what happened? He says, look, we get out to old girl's family's property. There's a bonfire out there. We're chilling, having a good time. We drinking beer. I'm like, nigga, you don't drink beer? He said, I know, but I was drinking beer. I said, okay. He said they drinking beer. Then she says, let's all go into the house. There was a house sitting on the property. They go in the crib. Everybody's sitting around. He says, now they start taking shots. He said the young lady pulled out a bottle of Jack Daniels. And they're taking shots. He said before they know it, everybody is faded. And the young lady starts kissing him. So I'm like, okay. Here's like in front of everybody. Here's like, and then we just start going, further and further. Before we know it, we getting it in front of everybody, and everybody joins in. So basically he's telling me they had a big ass orgy right there in the living room of the spot. I'm like, wow. So he like, nigga, I gotta come back. I'm like, yeah, you should. So we finally get back home. I get dropped off back at the crib. It is Sunday evening. I have to go back to school the next morning. I go to school the next day. I come home. My boy calls me, KP. My boy Ken says, hey, I talked to old girl last night. I said, uh-huh. He was like, nigga, they coming up. I said, they coming. He was like, man, her and her friends coming up. They don't know when yet, but they coming. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, that Friday, talking to my mother, she was like, hey, next weekend we're going up to Aliquippa. Shout out everybody in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. She was like, are you going with me? I was like, yeah, I'm going to go with y'all. She was like, all right. So my boy, KP, calls me. He says, hey, what you got going on next weekend? I'm like, man, I'm going to see the fam up in Pennsylvania. He was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, wow, what's up? He was like, nah, I was just seeing what you was up to. I said, all right. Get off the phone. Next weekend, we go to Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Come back that Sunday. My boy KP calls me. Hey, Nick. I said, what's up? Man, you missed it. I said, I missed what? He was like, man, them girls came up from West Virginia. I said, nigga, why didn't you tell me? I would have stayed. He was like, man, I ain't going to tell you that, and I know you're going to see your people. I'm like, all right, man. So I'm like, what went down? He said, him. We had a boy named Tim, we called TF. Him, TF, and 2 other cats I don't know. He was like, we all linked up. Everybody went their own separate way. He was like, they all got rooms at the Fireside Motel on Colerain Avenue. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, the Fireside Motel was a spot when I was in high school. If you didn't have nowhere to go with a young lady, you could always go to the Fireside. The Fireside was a cheap-ass motel on Colerain Avenue. They would give a room to anybody, and it was like $35, $40 a night. So they all went to the Fireside. So I'm like, wow. My boy Ken, kept, dealing with the young lady or whatever. So much to the point that after high school, he went to West Virginia State. So, now we get to where we got to go for the day. This is how all this shit comes full circle. So, fast forward to my freshman year of college. I'm in college. It's late fall. One of my boys says, hey, Mike, let's go to a party over at Wilberforce. Shout out everybody at Wilberforce University, the WU, W-U, in Xenia, Ohio. My boy says, let's go to a party over at the WU. I said, all right. We go to the party. The Kappas over at Wilberforce. Shout out all the noobs over at Delta chapter. They're having a party. I go over there. I'm having a great time. I meet a young lady over there. She's not a student at Wilberforce. She's a student at Kentucky State University. Shout out everybody at Kentucky State. We hit it off. Her and I are talking majority of the night. We dancing a little bit. She's there because her cousin goes to Wilberforce. So her and I exchange numbers. And before we go our separate ways, she's like, hey, in a few weeks, I know the Kappas are having a party down at Kentucky State. You should come through. You can stay with me. I said, bet. So, get back to campus. I'm at my room, and now I'm thinking, how can I get down to Frankfort, Kentucky for this party with this young lady? I don't have a car. So, I find out when the party is. It's 2 weeks away from that day, that night. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have my roommate, Arjuna, shout out my roommate, Arjuna, have him drop me off in Cincinnati on a Thursday night. Do laundry, do all that, get my little backpack together, go down to the Greyhound station downtown Cincinnati and get a ticket and go to Frankfort, Kentucky. It comes that time. My roommate Arjuna drops me off just like planned. I go to the crib, do laundry, tell my mother, like, I don't have class tomorrow, which was a lie. Because she would have been wondering, like, why the hell you home on a Thursday night and you got class on Friday? So I told her, I said, Mom, I'm going down to Kentucky State to kick it for the weekend. She was like, okay, cool. That morning I get up, I go down to the bus station, buy my ticket for $14 one way to Frankfort, Kentucky. Old girl is there to pick me up from the bus station. She picks me up. We riding around. She giving me a small tour of campus and all that. We then go and pick up another young lady that lives in her dorm so we can go to the liquor store. Now, she has me down there that weekend and staying with her because her roommate, who's from Louisville, Kentucky, was going to be home for the weekend, going home. So she was like, it'll just be you and I, we can chill. I'm like, all right, bet. So we go to the liquor store, get liquor, go back to her room. We're chilling, pre-gaming hard. We pre-gaming. Party don't start till 10. We pre-gaming at like 3. So go get something to eat. Still pre-gaming. We going hard too. Oh, we going hard with the drinking. Now it's time to get ready to go to the party. She says, I said to her, I said, hey, where can I shower? Because she lives in an all-girls dorm. So she's like, I'm going to call my boy that lives in an all-boys dorm. You can go over there and shower and then just come back. Cool. So I go over there, shower, come back. I get back over there. We're chilling for a little bit. She's like, all right, we can go kick it. So we go to the party. Shout out to the noobs at A-Up, Alpha Upsilon chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi at Kentucky State. They had a party. Shit's off the hook. Shit's bananas. We having a great time in there. Oh, we having a time. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Get done, we go to an after set. It's an after party at this house. Oh, we drinking and having a great time. Now it's probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. We go back to her dorm. She has to sneak me back in. So we get in, and I'm like, man, I need to go shower. Now, I've been dancing all night, all that, you know what I'm saying? So just in case something pops off, I need to be right. I need to be clean and all that. So I'm like, man, call your boy, see if he can let me in. So she calls him. I sprint over there to the dorm, lets me in. I shower. I come back. Now we have to sneak me back in. Finally, and I mean finally, after probably about a half hour, I'm back into the dorm. Her and I are chilling. She's like, hey, I'm about to go shower. Now, she didn't go shower before while I was gone because she was like, I don't want you to get done, come back, and I'm in the shower and I miss you or whatever. We can't, link up or whatever. So she goes and showers and I'm sitting at a desk in her room. On her desk, there's papers and books and stuff. I see a Watchtower magazine. For those of y'all who don't know what the Watchtower is the publication that Jehovah's Witness read and, subscribe to, so to speak. And she comes back in from the shower. We're talking a little bit. And I say to her, hey, I didn't know you were Jehovah's Witness. I saw the Watchtower. She's like, oh, yeah, I am. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's what's up. So I left it alone right there. But in my mind, it's still playing a question I still have. Why they don't have windows at the Kingdom Hall, at their place of worship? So that's in the back of my mind, but it's kicking up in my mind like, nigga, ask her. Maybe she'll have the answer. But I'm like, nah, this ain't the time. So we're chilling. She rolls up a joint. She's smoking. We're laughing. We start roasting each other. Now, anybody who knows me and knows my immediate circle or knows my kids or my wife know that we roast. Like, roasting is anybody from college friends, my chapter, anybody who's close to me knows that roasting is a normal part of interacting, right? So her and I are laughing. We having a great time. She throws out the first roast. She says, she was like, you was looking good tonight. I was like, oh, thanks. I appreciate it. She was like, you handsome and all. Your nose big. I laugh. I do. I have a big nose. I know this. I laugh because this shit is funny. So her and I are roasting back and forth. I say, oh, so y'all know how roasting goes, right? Y'all know when somebody throws a roast out there, y'all joking, I know parts of the country, they say capping or playing the dozens or roasting or joning or whatever the case may be. Getting your hots rolling, all that. Y'all know part of the exchange when roasting, niggas be like, oh, nigga, with your such and such and such and such. You know how it goes like that. Y'all know the cadence of roasting, right? So she's roasting. I respond with, oh, with your no window church having ass. The music stops. Her whole shit's changed. Like, her whole attitude changed. I look, I'm waiting for the roast to come back. It was all hee hee ha ha kikiing and laughing. Oh, all that shit done stopped. I'm like, oh shit, hold on. Now, let me back up a little bit. Leading up until when I said that roast, everything was lovely. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's about to go down tonight. We had a good time. All is well. We playing the Above the Rim soundtrack is going on in the background. Now, the song that is on is I Know a Place Where We Can Go. Y'all know that song, right? I know the next song on the soundtrack because I love the soundtrack. The next song is H-Town. So I'm like, ooh, this is when I make my move. Because the H-Town cut comes on next. Y'all know this. Part-Time Lover. So I'm like, okay, soon as Part-Time Lover come on, I'm making my move. But we start roasting. And right as H-Town about to come on, I hit her with the, oh, with your no window church having ass. Nigga. All that shit paused. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't hit below the belt on this one. But again, me and my circle, if I'm talking to Mac, my brother, Kev, DC, Juice, my wife, my kid, like, nothing's really off limits. Like, it's just what it is, right? Nobody gets hurt. The feelings don't get hurt, all that shit. I didn't remember that. So, I'm like, oh shit. Because she done shut down shop now. She quiet. Oh, she quiet. I'm like, you straight? She says, oh, you talking about my church now? You got something wrong with Jehovah's Witness? I'm like, no, it ain't like that. I was like, I initially wanted to ask you a question about the Kingdom Hall. Like, it didn't turn into a whole serious conversation at this point. I'm like, fuck. She says, you know what? Get out. I'm like, huh? She's like, get out. Just get your shit and get out. I'm like, hold on, Slim. Wait. Hold on. I said, where am I going to go if I get out? I don't care. Get out. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, I caught a Greyhound down here. Like, I don't know what you expect me to do if you put me out. She was like, this is the last time I'm going to tell you to get out. I said, whoop, okay. You got it. At the time, I had on a pair of hoop shorts, a hoodie, some socks, and some Adidas slides. Everybody know how I love Adidas slides. Adidas Adalettes are the best slides ever. But anyway, so I put on a pair of sweatpants on top of my shorts that I had. Put my slides in my backpack, put my sneaks back on. Put my shit on my back and I walk out. I get out the dorm. I'm walking across campus. It is like damn near next morning, right? Nobody's outside. So I'm thinking, how in the hell am I going to get back to the bus station? So I'm walking around campus and I'm trying to find like any door that's open, anything. I finally find the building, the door is open. I go in, I sit down. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. What's my plan here? So I happen to see like a campus security guard dude walking around. I'm like, hey, bro, let me ask you a question. He like, what's up? I said, do y'all have like a shuttle service or anything here on campus? I need to get to the Greyhound station. He was like, no. He was like, but let me call somebody. So he calls like a campus police officer. Dude comes over. He walks in the building. He's a police officer, campus police. This nigga mustache thick like the twins from the Whispers. Y'all know the group The Whispers? I don't even know the dude's names. They got the thick ass like sea lion mustache. This nigga shit thick. He like, what can I help you with? Like on some real like assertive, strong, like aggressive shit. I'm like, oh, nigga, it ain't even that type of party, bruh. So I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the Greyhound station. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You a student here? I said, no, sir, I'm not a student here. I'm down here visiting a student, and the young lady put me out. What'd she do that for? I said, we was just joking, whatever, and she didn't, want me there anymore, so she asked me to leave, so I left. You ain't put your hands on her? I said, come on, man. I said, nigga, I ain't even that tight. Nah. Oh, okay. About 5 minutes passed. After him telling me 9 million times, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how you're going to get there. All this shit, right? He says, look, now I can run you over there. I said, okay, would you? You going to have to sit in the back. I said, my man, I'm going to have to sit in the back of a police car. I don't let nobody ride up front. You either going to take it or you're not. But you're getting off this campus. I'm like, oh, this nigga here, man. I'm like, all right, bet. We in the car. I'm sitting in the back of a fucking police car going to a Greyhound station. We're riding. He says, well, tell me why she put you out. I said, we was having a good time. We started joking or whatever. And I said something about her church. They're like, her church? I said, yeah. He said, what the hell you talking about church for? You was there for the ass, wasn't you? I said, we was just hanging out or whatever. Oh, you went about it all wrong. I said, okay. So he's giving me all the advice in the world. Like he's fucking Goldie from the Mac. Like he has it all figured out when it comes to women. So I'm like, all right, cool. He gets me to the bus station. I get out. He shakes my hand. He says, son, I hope you make it home safe. I said, yes, sir. I appreciate the ride. Get my ticket. If you've never sat in a Greyhound station for an extended period of time, hoo-wee. It's different. You find some different people in the Greyhound station. So I'm sitting there, about the only normal one in the station. People coming up, walking, just saying wild shit, right? I'm like, man, I'm so ready to get back to the natty. Finally, and I mean finally, get on the bus, sit down. A young lady sits across the aisle from me. She's like both, like my seat is empty. Like I'm sitting on the aisle, but the window's empty. Same for her. So we're sitting there. She starts talking. I'm like, man, god damn. She starts out, good morning. I'm like, good morning. Where are you headed? I said, Cincinnati. Oh, I've been to Cincinnati before. Oh, okay, cool, good. I'm just trying to go to sleep until I get to the Natty. She's talking my ear off, but I ain't listening to shit. We get probably about 20 minutes outside of Cincinnati. I'm like, okay, let me try to stay up. I don't want to sleep through no shit. So she starts talking again. She said, Cincinnati's a great place. I used to go there a lot growing up. My grandparents used to belong to a church and they would go up and visit. I said, oh, okay, cool. Come to find out, she's a Jehovah's Witness. Now I'm about to ask. Fuck this, I got to know. So I say, can I ask you a question? She said, of course. I said, so you were raised like going to the Kingdom Hall? She said, yeah. I said, are you still practicing Jehovah's Witness? She said, no. She said, but I did my entire life pretty much. I said, well, let me ask you a question. She said, go ahead. I said, why are there no windows at the Kingdom Hall? And she laughed. She was like, you wouldn't believe how many times I've been asked that question. I said, well, shit, what's the answer? She said, you'll have some people say, you know, it's because they don't want people to break in and vandalize or steal things. She said you'll have people say things like, well, when they were building the churches, it was for like reasons like heat and cooling and all. She said people give you a lot of shit, a lot of answers. I said, okay. She said, but if you go to certain parts of the country and certain like islands and stuff like that, they have windows. I said, they do? She said, yeah. I said, I've driven past and been into a couple Kingdom Halls and they didn't. She said, a lot of people have. A lot of people think that they don't have windows. I said, so that's the only reason? Like, some do and some don't? She said, yeah. I'm like, that ain't the answer I was looking for. She said, a lot of people, that's not the answer they're looking for. She said, a lot of people think because there are no windows, we hide and stuff, or we don't want people looking out the windows and getting, you know, distracted and stuff like that. I sat back. I said, you know what? This question has cost me to get some cheeks, right? Like, cost me getting some sex. Because I weaved it into a joke and the shit ain't popped like I thought it was going to pop. I sat back, came over to Cutting the Hill, which is an area on 75. Pulled into downtown Cincinnati. And I had my answer. Which was, some do, some don't. But what do it really matter, though? Jay Electronica said one time, the church, you go to pray in it. The work is on the outside. Looking out the window is for love songs and houseflies. Preach. When they used to hold hands. When they used to hold